All right, good evening, everybody. So I was responding to a comment, on somebody else's video. In fact, well, I'm going to just kind of share the screen of what I was responding to. So let me figure out how to do this. Bear with me. Share what picture? I saw the notification. Hopefully it still shows it probably. There we go. This gentleman. And again, everybody's going to have their opinions, and that's fine. So let me go see if I can rifle through everything. This is in reference to, I guess, a video somebody posted regarding an influencer. She mocked Charlie Kirk's death. And of course, because the way it fucking unfolds, so I don't want to report this gentleman. Let me go to the video itself. See if I can actually.
Well, y'all remember this pure evil.
I probably won't be able to find it. There it is. Oh, cool. It's right there. Awesome. That makes it easier. And I did reply to that gentleman. I don't know why YouTube doesn't show the reply that I made. So it's kind of bad with me. Let me scroll down. Okay, and that's me responding to Malcolm Y. There we go. So this is what he's saying in his initial comment. Makes him equivalent with gun violence against children. Oh, the baby killer power now put in our children. Don't lecture me on morality. Not sure. That was 14 hours ago. I was at work 14 hours ago, so I didn't get a chance to respond. So here's where I respond. Abortion, gun violence are two totally different issues. And I think that is very valid based on the society that we live in. Now, I'm going to be perfectly clear. Okay, somebody else is going to do the same thing. I'm going to be perfectly clear. You know, I lean more towards the pro-life side of things rather than pro-choice. And I think the reason it's become such a hot topic of debate is because the culture that we live in. Whatever happened to teaching fucking abstinence? The fucking millions of instances of fucking contraceptives you could use. People just choose to be fucking stupid like that, and they don't want to hold responsibility for their actions. But anyhow, I digress. So, because man should not make any threats of harm. So that's how I responded. And let me see. Wait, what the fuck? Okay, let's hold it to that. Okay, yeah, there we go. This is his response to me. I look forward to this now. Hopefully having a vote to create dead people. Okay, yeah. Touche, he got me there. Right? So this is a society that we live in. Basically, laws are written. That was a fact from them, but whatever. So I'm not going to get into a comic war. That's just not my thing. So let's, let's go back to look up the I'm gonna actually look at this stuff. Abortion, US, still in 2025, United States, because the United States, so I don't want to look at 35. Okay, that's AI summary. About 1 million abortions annually. So there we go. And you got to bear in mind. Okay, so this one, yep, yeah. So 1 million abortions in 2024 were done. Yeah, you got to keep in mind, Roe versus Wade was overturned in 2022. So let's see what this one says. The access to and the constitutional right to abortion. And let's look and see where that's actually in the Constitution. And there've been a law proposed and all that. But it wasn't written in that initial document. Which is the practice. Open up that one. See what this says. What a constitution of fuck. No, that's just saying, yeah, it should be legal. So, more telehealth. I'm going to get into this in a little bit. Even before Roe versus Wade was enacted, abortions were still taking place. Yeah, somebody jack and probably resulted in the death of the mother, but I digress. That's for my lifetime. Yeah, wow. People will find ways to do shit. If they don't like the laws, they're going to find ways to do shit. No, I don't want to subscribe. Yeah, the overturning of Roe versus Wade, and in 50 years, we all know the poster child, Roe versus Wade, and 2020, we're talking 2022 for comparison. Just for comparison, all right? Let's go to, see what I can dig up here. Just bear with me. I don't know September. Okay, so 2022. It actually had fewer abortions in 2022 than what I was seeing in 2022. Just after Roe versus Wade return. So, all right. So, in 2024, 1 million abortions were done. So now, fine. So I'm probably going to prove this gentleman right, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. Okay, no, I don't want to fucking. I just want to fucking look at shit. I don't want to be fucking complicated. No, I don't want to sign up for shit. I'm just looking for one article, and they absolute jackasses. Okay, so well, we'll both be proven right when you consider if you yep 16,576. So that is about 1/6 of the amount of abortions done. So I know my comment was, of course, yeah, the excluding suicide. Hey, can you even say that word? Anyhow, so it doesn't track those. Um, but these figures are including murders, accidents, all that. What about mass shootings? I believe it's probably showing that. So, all right. So you kind of get my point where I'm going with this. Uh, they're basically they're two different animals. But that gentleman, he has a valid point in terms of making dead people. Uh, there are more abortions done than there are gun crimes. But it also proves me right that they're two totally different issues that both need to be, addressed. But, again, you know, his point is very valid. Many people on the left, it's been assumed so. They're the ones that want to, the good Second Amendment and all that stuff, take the guns. But, the irony of that is the free, if someone's been to the right, but case in point, the banning guns from transgender, over that one shooter that happened to be transgender. And, again, one is a medical procedure, one is a crime. Um, that basically differentiates. I'm going to say this in my own video because, again, I don't like comment wards. Because that's what others should do. Yes, of course. Um, with somebody who's a diehard, pro-lifer, they'd rather see, they'd rather see someone go and get a person get an abortion, or they'd rather read the fucking headlines, you know, a neglected kid died because of being neglected. They'd rather see that. And, I want to make another thing clear. Um, and a lot of people are probably going to have issues with doing this on both sides. The times where I would commit excessive something, for a woman to get an abortion, the obvious, words that rhyme with grape and insect. And of course, the obvious, being a high risk, with mother, and that can happen as well. Even then, I'm like, case in point. For example, the mother kept alive. The clinically brain dead mother kept on life support, because of Georgia law. Essentially forced to give birth, and it wasn't even natural birth; it was C-section. And last time I did look for the update, but I'm going to do that right now. No time to update. Georgia, North Corsicana, dead Venus. Right. Guys after giving birth. Okay, that's May 15th. I'm looking for any updates. August 27th. So that was pretty recent. what he's asking. So, and this is where it gets really, really dicey. And this also ties into my point about politicians passing laws on stuff that they really know nothing about. I covered this in a previous video. My borderline satirical run for president. If somebody who's a politician wants to pass a law on something, then they need to get certified, or a degree in that something that they want to pass a law on. Okay, so yep, this is one of resource, but it's something exactly what I'm looking for. Okay, that's all I've seen. I haven't seen any updates on that. If you see any more updates on this one, this is definitely one still worth following because that's what we chocolate up right there. Especially the pro lifers. She has another said nothing is a good idea. There's still some things to do. So if you want to snip, I can have them specifically. See if I can come up with more updates. With Georgia. So we got the Wikipedia. Okay. Well, this is for the 12th. That's the reason. Let me open this up. See what this says. I think this is one that everybody. This is one that people should definitely really stay on top of because let's face it, they want to be in a role where they just want to pump something out because they get us talking, then they're going to pump out something else. Body, right? And I know the pro life side, body side of not real long. And I want to say, in a way, we're kind of fortunate to have this in our hands. At least we're not marsupials. Look what a kangaroo does. That's there. Comparing apples to uh, Abigail and Evans. Okay. So that is this life act of Georgia. A criminalized situation of protecting fetal heartbeats. So I'm guessing there was obviously a fetal heartbeat that was protected. So the bill was passed before the overturning of Roe v. Wade. Headaches, obviously there's heartbeat, so that's where there's a little bit. It's isolated case. We have hearing there. And how far are we going to take off? Uh, if there is a God, which is a whole other debate in itself. So, kept alive, taken to the hospital. So, again, this one actually, when she was pregnant with a hospital sepsis, yoga after it was. I mean, that's what it's going on. Here's another one. So I just hope the fertilizer that's not okay with this. And again, how far are we going to let this thing go? Such a bad success. So now that I've looked at that, let's discuss the supplement. Wait, can you actually see the windows? So you can actually see the window, right? Fucked up hardcore. So, let me go back. Let me type in, let's say it again. Share screen. Really fucked up this stream. So let me type in crash course. How many abortions? 930,000. Okay, so a million. Okay. We go back to London. Yeah. All right. So that one. Keep forgetting that. Got the balance between windows. Wait, is this actually showing? Okay, so it's showing that one. So let's stop that. Let's share that. Okay. So 16,576. So stop that. Go back to that. And type in Alan Smith. Name. Family of one. Okay. We go back to share. Again, that was my dad. Update. This is the one that took place in Georgia due to the Life Act. You know, they couldn't take her off life support, you know, because she was pregnant, and due to the law, you know, they couldn't do the abortion. And I know when this one was written, it was written 3 months ago. I'm trying to find a more recent one. Update. 27th, August 27th, September. Let's go to the September 12th. If I can find it. All right, September 22nd. Okay, so this is a much more recent one. let me share that with you. Okay, medical debts, not surprising. Okay, the GoFundMe. Again, they don't know if he's going to live. So I'm actually hoping that this is the empathy in me, so to speak. I'm actually hoping that the baby actually makes it. As of late August 2025, weighs in 5 pounds. For June 13th. So again, this is basically how far are we going to play? How far are we going to fucking, play God? And again, that's depending on whether how you define God. Look at that. Update today. That. Probably not going to find much on that. What happened to Adriana Smith's baby? Let me try that. That's the AI summary. I saw one from fucking system. Type in that. Let's see what it actually says. So just kind of bear with me. I'm just trying to fucking. There was one that I was watching. Reading rather. Right? Type in a new tab. Again, this is definitely shit that needs to really be discussed. I don't think I'm going to find it. It always goes without saying, the one thing I want to fucking find, I cannot find. There we go. That's not correct. It was from the text. So, let's share that screen. Just bear with me. Let's go controversy. So, the real story, and again, I am hoping that baby actually survives and turns out fine. It'll be a chocolate up for everybody. So living infants, that's the life act. And again, it couldn't be enforced, until Roe versus Wade was overturned. Okay, yep. So, so this gentleman, so lawyer, who mentioned a Terry Chicago case, a completely different case, mine, but still, it wouldn't apply in that situation, but the better relevant guidance. Heavily unconscious with terminal condition. It's not viable. Saying so, again, this whole thing could have been fucking amendment. I can see a fucking malpractice lawsuit in the works for the initial diagnosis, of the headaches. So yeah, I'm going a little too far off topic here. So again, this is my benefit of share a screen properly. Anyhow, let's do it in this one. You try to reverse something that's been, it's not, as far as I can, as far as I can happen. What was between 71 and 73? Let me see when it was actually first enacted. Yep, 1973. Yep. And the poster child was the plaintiff. And this happened in 1969. She became pregnant with a third child. She wanted an abortion, but at that time, it was only legal when it was necessary to save his life. Meaning she had 2 kids prior that she wanted to keep, but she didn't want to keep this one for whatever reason. That we're going to see Stephanie, that's her name. So do this. Natural person. And obviously, not known until 2021. So she obviously kept a very private life, and probably still does. So let's see what happens. So yes, her birth mother was made in 1988. Yeah. So that's kind of fucked up. Yeah, that is very fucked up. So let's see here. I guess the boyfriend she met had kids, prior. Whatever. So we all know that. So this is what she says, speaking out against the decision. So she knows that she has a unique perspective. So that would be the one person to really speak on it. The private medical choice. So yeah, I mean that right there in itself, and because she's probably the most qualified person to speak on the matter. Again, more so than politicians want to pass laws. And let me start that screen. I know it's talked about abortion versus gun violence, but again, they're both serious issues, and again, in my opinion, they're completely different based on the society and the laws that we live in. Um, and my final point of this stream is that you know let's assume they made abortion illegal all the way around, and let's assume they repealed the Second Amendment, and they decide to go after, people's guns. One, that's only going to affect the people who follow the law. They're not going to be able to follow the unregistered guns. And as the evidence presented itself for the shooting of Ronnie Thompson, that was an unregistered gun, no serial number, three printed. That's what they say. So the fact that we have technology to make shit means they're not going to go away. And I'm going to recant a personal story, in my lifetime. This actually happened well over a decade ago. I briefly met a girl. So I thought, blah, blah, blah. And we first met up. It's, a hookup. And she told me, this was prior to the hookup, so I'm not doing it. I don't. So we got together one night, and the actual conversations were basically she was a drop sign, putting stuff in the body, getting intoxicated in very different ways. You see where I'm going with this? This happened in Massachusetts where population abortion, as far as I know, is still legal. As it was legal back then. Now, again, there was only there's knowledge points, and that's the four that I looked up. So you can kind of see where I'm going with this. We're still going to my institution. Let's assume that they let's go back to the gun issue. Let's assume they actually, did in fact, enact law enforcement and/or military to where the guns from, all the gangsters, criminals, and all that. And they did a fucking clean sweep of every fucking gun. The same people are going to find other ways to take out people. And you're going to hear more about those rather than gun deaths or the like. Now, I want to be clear. I mentioned this in a previous video. Yes, I suppose it's second. But, we need to be fucking real about certain things. Choice of weapon matters. Show me a time when somebody killed somebody from 200 yards away with a knife. You know what I mean? Or hell, even the other long range weapon that is not discussed because not being used in the past. Bow and arrow. You'd be hard pressed to find somebody who could kill accurately with a bow and arrow from 200 yards away. That's why we're probably somebody with more powerful bows, you could shoot half a mile, but it was also completely accurate. That's why they had lines of options, 5 arrows. Whole line would be a whole fucking steel of arrows. So you get my point. I'm not going to rattle off every other example because, we've seen it in the news. They don't need it. That's the marathon bombings. Oklahoma City. However, and the small one in the you get my point. Building the evil conniving shit as Homo sapiens in a lot. Fucking, we all have completely wiped out evidence all other species of men. That includes closest relatives in the hominid genus, Homo sapiens, Neanderthalensis. Neanderthals. Obviously, in the old days, they were taught that, yeah, we wiped it out by killing them with spears. Now it's like, that's almost, been all but completely debunked. Obviously, some of us have Neanderthal DNA in us. And there's probably other species of man that their DNA may also be. This is South Africa. So, yeah. But, okay, I've gone too far off topic. But, well, yeah, well, I suppose it's not going to let die how you got. But, even if there was, I sure as hell wouldn't be like a broadcasting that to the world. We more to I do think there has to be some exceptions to the rule. And I can send a hot video of the topic of abortion. I was hanging out in the old town. It's good to be happy and see a church organization doing it. And one of their signs actually said, we will adopt your baby. So I'm going to give that one credit to do it. That's not coming up with solutions, for kids. Instead of just, every baby should be born. Yeah. And that was going to a homeless person. You know what I mean? So I got that. That's a little bit of that. So, I've rattled your ears off long enough. Over and out. I'll talk.